Welcome to the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, we have a great show prepared for you today. But first, let me give you the title. It's called Clear Vision. The next part, I'm going to introduce you to a video. It's going to explain to you about clear vision and giving you the foundation in which areas you need to go, and also to validate where you are, to give you that confidence that you are on the right road. It's going to talk about several things. It's going to talk about writing 3 things that you are passionate about, writing 3 things that you can service to the world and what you see the world needs from you. Write 3 things that you can make money from and how you can benefit financially from it, and write 3 things that you are good at. So the next part is going to be the video, and then we're going to come back and talk to you a little bit more about clear vision.
When you find yourself lost in life and not sure exactly what you're doing, grab a pen and paper and figure out your calling in life. Write 4 concentric circles on that piece of paper. You want to go and write down 3 things that you love to do. Then go and write down 3 things that you believe the world needs. Write down 3 things you can be paid for, and then 3 things that you're really good at. The intersection of these 4 circles is your ikigai. This is a Japanese concept that stands for your reason for being. This is a practical philosophy for your life, a way that you can find strength and that you can succeed no matter the tough times you find yourself in. Too often, humans work on things that make them feel empty, lost, and confused. If you feel like this, you need to slow down and complete this exercise.
Welcome back to the Sonia Buchanan Show. Again, our subject today is clear vision. Wasn't that video very informative? It gives you a foundation to find out where you are exactly, or if you realize where you are, or you're right in the middle of total chaos and you don't know how you got over here, and you were over there last week, now you over in chaos, and now you're confused. This video will help you bring back the center, the core of who you are. So I wanted to share that video with you because he gives an illustration, and also while he's talking, he's explaining the illustration to give you that balance. But I want to talk to you about a little bit more, to give you a more clear vision about what that video is discovering. That is the core. You definitely have to find out what you are and who you are and what you are passionate about and what you're good at. That's one of the things to finding out the core. And so you can ride that wave out. But I want to talk to you about how do you ride the wave out when everything is coming against you, all chaos, you're feeling confused and all of that. By writing that illustration down, the 4 things in the 4 circles, that will give you the energy when you come to a place in your life where chaos is coming, where distractions is everywhere. Now, I want you to know chaos and distractions, it affects every one of us. So don't be deceived about it. It doesn't affect everyone. Some people are able to deal with it on the back end and not bring it in the forefront of everyone to see, oh, I'm going through chaos. I'm going through just a lot of things going on in my life. But they seem to stay focused on what they were called to do, if you will. They seem to stay focused on it, and that's what you have to do. And I wanted to introduce you to that video so that when you get into that place, I call it the jungle of life. We all go through the jungle of life. We all experience it. So don't think that they don't. They just know how to stay focused on, I got to get to the end. This is what I want to do. And I want to talk to you about what and how they are able to do that. Once you figure out, as the video described, this is the core of who I am. This is the avenue where I want to go. This is where I want to prosper. This is where I want to have a harvest. This is where I want to exceed and be great in. Once you figure that out, that is the concrete, that is the leveling. Then once you do that, you surround yourself around that, the center of that atmosphere and that energy. Now, I know that a lot of times we see people are fighting in the streets. We see videos all the time with people fighting and they reacting and all of that. They have seemed to find out that they are in an energy that is reactive and wanting to fight. They're in the energy. Of course, they can come out of that energy once they make a reality and say, oh, I'm better than this. And then they can come back and be in the center core of who they are. But I want you to understand that we can all be distracted by things, because what happens, distractions cause us to stumble, to get off our core of direction. And we end up in another atmosphere. We end up in a field of energy now is affecting our lives. And then we come to a realization that confusion and chaos is now in our life. Now, once you realize that you are confused and confusion once in your life, then you realize you have stepped into an energy that is not a part of the reality of what you discovered or who you are and where you're trying to go. Now, we all are affected by decisions and when distractions coming towards us, but we have to remember the core of who we are and where we're trying to go at the end to have a harvest that will benefit our lives. Now, I want to tell you that the field of energy is one that you want to pay attention to, because all the field of energies may not be for you. It may not be, it will cause a distraction for you life. It may not be a bad field of energy, but it may not be your field of energy, if that makes any sense. I could take a person, now I am a teacher by nature. And I know when I get off into another field of energy, it brings chaos because I have no understanding of what it is. Now I can go and research that field of energy that I found myself to be in chaos to find out why I'm feeling chaotic. It's because the core of who I am, everything that's part of my life that I've learned to be a teacher, now I'm over here in another field of energy, and it's causing distractions. It's causing me to be not centered. And then I have to go back to where I am called to do. And it brings a comfortable place, a peaceful place, a place where I can pull the energy and the knowledge in that area. And what's happening a lot of times when people feeling chaotic and they feeling confused, you have stepped in another field of energy and it's not your place. I want to really dive into this because we're having issues with people not knowing who they are. Like we have a field of energy with people. Let me give you an example, the mass shootings. Okay. Now the children that's doing the mass shootings, and this is an example of what field of energy is. This person has stepped into a field of energy understanding how to operate a gun. They have researched all types of weapons. They have did studies on the weapons. And what's happening is because they are tuned in on that mass shooting, they are pulling down that field of energy of being a murderer. That's the field of energy. That's on a negative part. It is the same way on a positive part. If a person is want to be an architecture, okay, and they are studying all the trees around the world, and what is going to take to make the perfect table, the perfect chairs. They are in the center of the field of energy because that's the core they want to do. They want to be an architecture. So they go in and they learn everything about that particular subject. And the field of energy and the atmosphere of that began to pull down, people call it the universe of knowledge. Basically, that's what it is. The universe aligns with your energy because your energy and your intriguing desire to learn everything about the perfect wood to be an architecture, because your goal is to be the best and whatever it is that you have chosen to be. And that field of energy is pulling the resources out of heaven and it's dropping, it's just pulling it. And all of a sudden, the more you have mobility in that particular subject, the knowledge, the surroundings, people call it the law of attractions, but this is really what's happening. It is the law of attraction, but I want you to know the details of what it takes to be a law of attraction. This is a field of energy that's pulling the resources out of the heavenly, people call it universe. The universe is pulling the knowledge source, and it sees a compartment, which is you, in that particular field, which is really basically faith. You have no doubt that you're not going to be the best architecture. Okay, that is the faith level. There's no doubt there. That's faith. I'm going to get there. I'm going to learn all about these trees. I'm going to be excellent in being an architect. I'm going to be #1 house builder. They're going to have all of these things. That is the faith level in which you are operating. And because of the faith level, it's pulling the resources out of the universe, which is made of darkness. It's only made out of darkness because light has not been exposed. You are that compartment of light, pulling those resources down to you so that you can continue on and carry out your desire in being an architect. You can call it whatever you want, a doctor, a policeman, a business owner, but it's pulling those resources so that you can be exposed to excellent every time you have mobility in that subject. It's the same way with someone who is a person that's a mass shooter. Okay, they're pulling those resources, and what a parent needs to do is bring their child into a different resources. But sometimes parents are not even aware of the field of energy that the children is pulling from. That is where we have to be involved in our children's life and find out exactly what it is that they are consumed with. Because whatever it is they are consumed with, faith is pulling that field of energy from the universe. Okay? It can be a darkness and it can be a light. It is really up to you. I'm not here to judge anyone, but that is how that happens. Okay? I was thinking about something this morning, and I realized that this concept may not be true. I've heard that a child is developed within the day they're born and 7 years old, and now they are conformed in who they're going to be in life. But I found out as I was expounding on that, that is not true. Let's take an example of the Williams sisters, the tennis sisters. They were in their teenage years or young adults when their father made a decision, because they grew up poor in California. Their father made a decision. We all saw the story. They made a decision that there was going to be a change in his children's life. So he decided to change the field of energy for all of his kids to be successful. He went in and he studied. He didn't allow anyone to speak negativity over their children. He changed the course in the field of energy. This is what I'm talking about, pulling that field of energy and changing the atmosphere in which you're trying to go to. He knew that he did not want his kids to be poor. So he changed that field and draw near and brought those resources, the energy, the faith level, the continuity, the consistency, consistent every single day. You're pulling that resources. People call it the anointing, but basically that's what it is. It's that resources and the power and the atmosphere and the faith and the knowledge, the consistency. You don't give up even when distractions are around you, even when things are going sour. You do not give up every single day on the consistency of what the core value of who you are and where you're trying to go. And what happens is we have distractions coming from everywhere. And the distractions are there to get you off that focus, that one thing that you're trying to get to. You see the distractions, you handle distractions, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you ride on that wave and trying to get to the core of what decision you have tried to make. Now, for those people who don't know who they are and they are just totally clueless, pick something. Pick a subject that you're really good at. Pick that subject and ride the wave on that subject. I'm still questioning. I'm really still questioning about, is it that people are called to do this, or is it that this is something that they want to do? Either way, it's the same actions with the field of energy being drawn to you to go down that field. Some people want to make a lot of money. That field of energy, and you're expounding, I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to make a lot of money. And you are determined you're going to make a lot of money because of the faith level in which you are trying to do. And you are learning everything. You're learning how to be a corporation. You're learning how to sell. You're learning all of that. And you're pulling that field of energy and you're riding that wave. There are some who is actually called to do a particular career. In fact, I met someone the other day. I was at the grocery store, and the cashier, before I even got to the cashier, I knew that this guy was a basketball player. So by the time I went to him and I asked him, I said, "Do you play basketball?" And he laughed. Had no idea. I just thought he was graduated. He said that he was in 11th grade and he played ball. And I said, "You should stay on that field," because his whole aura was basketball. And he said that he laughed because he said that his uncle was explaining to him he needs to get back into the sport. He does, because it was completely all over him. It was his aura, his mannerism, the way he was. Basketball players, if you're around anybody who's in sports, this is the core of their life, to play ball, whether it's in college, whether it's in high school, whether it's professional. But that was the core of his life. And he smiled, and I said, I said, congratulations for you to get back. And he laughed because I just wanted to confirm, listen, son, this is where you need to go. And this is the same thing with you in your career. I want you to find something if you don't know the core of who you are. Because even if you just choose something and you ride on that field of energy and you surround yourself with that atmosphere, what's going to happen, your heart is going to start pulling you back to the center of who you are. And maybe you choosing something is probably information and knowledge and a skill that you need when you have chosen a particular place in a field of energy and a center course of what you think you want to do. Because what I know for a fact is that your heart will lean you back over to the core of who you are, or your purpose in life. I've met many people who have risen to the top of their game in corporate America, and they find out, I don't want to do this anymore, and they completely sell everything and give up the whole corporate scene, and then go into a field completely different than what they have been doing. But all the information and the knowledge and the skill and understanding the mindset in a particular area that you wasn't called to do, you can carry that information over to where you really are, the core of who you are, to service the world and something that they may need. And maybe the person that was in corporate America that had a field of energy and the knowledge to be a leader in this area is something that maybe another area where he can service the world. And later on in life, it is the set time for him to service that. So we don't want to take things like, well, I don't want to do this job. I don't want to do this. And I hate this job. But see, that job is giving you skills. That job is teaching you different mannerism, how to be able to relate to people in this area, because later on in life, you may understand the core of who you are and what you can service to people and how you can benefit financially. And it will be something that you're good at. Only you're good at is by the experience that you're operating in something previously. And I know a lot of people is going through a lot of things with the jobs, but if you would change your mindset, changing your mindset would change the core of the field of energy that you're pulling for the resource. It's very difficult, but it's necessary. Change your mindset and understanding that everything that you're learning, even the things that you don't want to learn, things that you are impeccably hating at the moment, could be something that's going to bless your life. You're going to have a knowledge base because of this experience when you get to the core of your enjoyment of life. So I don't want you to give up on life. I wanted to explain about the field of energy. Okay, and let me go a little bit more deeper with the field of energy and what it is. The field of energy, some people call it the anointing, some people call it the Spirit of God, but the field of energy is an invisible force to change the course and the narrative of your life. That's why we have to be careful about the field of energy that we connect ourselves with, because it may be wicked, it may be evil, it may be immoral. But you want to understand the field of energy in which you are connected to is in alignment with who you are, and is it something that will benefit you on the better part of life, to bring a revenue in your life, to bring an enjoyment in your life. You want to make sure that you are pulling that field of energy, not reacting, fighting people, going off, doing this. There are several different field of energies. You have the field of energy of being a reporter, a field of energy of teachers. You know, I meet people all the time and I can kind of tell if they're a teacher or not because of the mannerism. Those are field of energies. It's an invisible force to shape what they want. So you don't want someone to connect you with a field of energy, you know, it's bringing you chaos and confusion. That's the wrong field of energy. You want to make sure that you are aware of what is happening within you, that you are in alignment with your mind, spirit, and soul, and the core of who you are if you are aware of what you're supposed to do. Now, if you are not aware of who you are, connecting to the wrong field of energy will totally bring you in chaos. But you can make that decision every day by getting up, re-looking at what you have concluded with the four circles, and knowing who you are. Make sure you write it down. Don't put it in your phone. Don't do digital. Write it down on a piece of paper because you want to be able to have easy access to stay on the course. Field of energies can be either negative or positive, okay? So I want you to be aware of that. And I wanted to dive into those who have found themselves in a place of confusion. You're not in confusion. You need to step back for a moment, take a break, go for a walk, go in nature, go take a swim, go outside and play, go to a movie. Because once you break the core of the distractions, once you break the core of confusion and chaos in your life and do something totally different, then you can come back and have clear vision and get back on that wave. Because you will have a harvest if you do not stop, if you do not say, I had it. If you do not say, I'm done with this, don't do that. Take a step, do something, reread, write a note to yourself. Whatever it is, make sure you're consistent in doing something that you know that you should do. Even though it may take a lot of energy for you to do it, but that one energy that's pulling you back to keep from you doing is one that you can overstep by taking a step and doing something in that particular area. Reading a book, writing down your goal for the day, rewriting the goal, surrounding yourself with someone that is in the same field of energy and the same atmosphere, because that's what you want to do, is stay connected to that area in your life. Look at the distractions, look at the things that's coming against you, trying to get you to stumble. Look at it, take care of it, but make sure while you're taking care of it, you're listening to something that is pertaining to that field of energy that you're on while you are handling the distractions, because we all experience distractions. But I wanted to just go over about the field of energy and also the atmosphere in which you are wanting to stay close to, okay? So I hope you enjoyed our discussion today. And again, our subject is called Clear Vision. Okay? Thank you for joining the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Until next time, see you guys next week.
Oh my god, I gotta tell you, I was having a moment and I decided to surf the net. And that's when I came across this website called Comforting Promises, which is a great website, by the way. And get this, on the website was a featured book called The Journey by Sonya Buchanan that was recently published. So I immediately downloaded the ebook on Kindle because it talked about, having faith for your life purpose. And let me tell you, the book is super great. I was so motivated to get back into the game, pursuing my goals. And you gotta get the book because it's worth the read.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonya Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to sonyabuchanan.com. For information about Comforting Promises broadcast community, you can go to comfortingpromises.com.